Hello everyone, welcome to Barca News. It is January 21st, 2025, and Deco has met with the super agent Jorge Mendes while he was in Portugal. Also, Barcelona Scouts were present in the match between Barcelona and Benfica in order to watch a Benfica player. I'm going to tell you who it is. And finally, Gerard Martin is set to sign his contract renewal this week. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and we begin this video with the great news that Barcelona today completed a historical and epic comeback, defeating Benfica 4-5 in what was a pretty chaotic and bizarre match where Barcelona did not necessarily perform that well, probably their worst match in the Champions League, but nonetheless they showed their mental fortitude and their winning spirit by mounting this epic comeback. And with this victory, Barcelona have officially qualified to the round of 16 of the Champions League. So congratulations to Barcelona, and congratulations to all of us Barca fans, because Barcelona will be in the next stage. By the way, this is a completely side note, but I do want to go back to this picture. How amazing is this picture? Whoever took this picture deserves an award or a pay raise, because the aura of this picture is 1,000,000%. Now, speaking of that match, of course, I did do the post-match live analysis. If you want to hear my analysis, my review, my thoughts, my opinions about the match, make sure to check it out. Now, while we're talking about the match between Barcelona and Benfica, of course, Deco was present in Portugal ahead of this match. And while he was there, he did take the opportunity to have dinner with Jorge Mendes. As you know, Jorge Mendes is a super agent. He represents many players, including many players in Barcelona. And while Deco decided to have a dinner with Jorge Mendes to discuss several players, including Ansu Fati's contract renewal. As you know, Barcelona want to renew him as soon as he turns 18. Also, Alejandro Balde, and what's going to happen with his future, etc., because he's another player that Barcelona would like to keep for as long as possible. And finally, and this was the main topic of the dinner, but of course, Ansu Fati. Now, as you know, Barcelona or Hansi Flick does not count on Ansu Fati. Barcelona have been looking to offload Ansu Fati, especially because they're trying to bring Marcus Rashford. And in order to bring Marcus Rashford, they have to offload someone. But unfortunately, Ansu Fati has been very insistent that he doesn't want to leave Barcelona. And I talked about this in more detail in my podcast yesterday. So if you haven't seen it yet, make sure to check it out. And while during the dinner, Deco and Jorge Mendes discussed Ansu Fati, and Jorge Mendes made it clear to Barcelona that he will help Barcelona find a new destination for Ansu Fati. But of course, as long as the player does not want to leave, there's not much the club can do. But if the player does change his mind, then Jorge Mendes is willing to step in and help Ansu Fati find a new destination. Now, there are plenty of interested clubs in Ansu Fati, including Besiktas in Turkey. There's Saudi Arabia. There's Sevilla, Real Betis. But of course, for now, the player is saying no. We'll see whether the pressure from his family and entourage will make him change his mind. And we'll see whether, the writing on the wall will make him change his mind. Because after all, Flick has been very clear that he doesn't count on the academy graduate. Now, while we still on the topic of Benfica and Barcelona, Joan Laporta was caught by some reporters going into his hotel and was once again asked about that missed penalty against Getafe. And before I tell you what the president's response is, let me just remind you, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. If you are looking for any Barcelona jerseys or merchandise, make sure to Goal Kids, Kickback, or Fanatics. If you are looking to place any sports bets, make sure to bet us. All links are down below in the description. If you click on them, you do get access to some pretty cool deals and offers. Now, let's get back to the news, because Joan Laporta was once again asked about the reporters about that missed penalty. And this is what the Barcelona president had to say. I don't know if my statements have reached the arbitration body or not. What is clear is that the penalty on Koundé was as clear as a whistle. The referee was good in general. The VAR should have said something. He should have intervene. So once again, Joan Laporta insisting that that penalty against Koundé was clear as day. Of course, yesterday he made the same remarks while he was coming out of court. And as I said in yesterday's podcast when I discussed the previous statements, is I'm glad that Joan Laporta speaking out, but I think at some point words are not enough, and I think it's time for Barcelona to start taking some action at the institutional level. Otherwise, this is still going to continue to happen. In fact, this season, it has happened already way too many times. Now, while we're still on that topic, I guess this video should be just called Benfica versus Barcelona and everything that came out of that match. But while we're still on the topic of the Champions League match, Barcelona scouts were present today in Benfica Stadium in order to watch a Benfica player. And that player, it's no other than Alvaro Carreras. Now, Alvaro Carreras is a 21-year-old left back who got his start at the Real Madrid Academy, but was later on signed by Manchester United. Last season, he spent the second half of that season on loan from Manchester United to Benfica. And after impressing at the Portuguese outfit, Benfica decided to sign him for 6 million euros. And well, now he's been doing really well in the Portuguese league and even in Europe. And as such, he has caught the attention of Barcelona, who have been tracking him for several months. And well, today, Barcelona sent their scouts to the stadium in order to watch Alvaro Carreras up front and close. Now, I have to say, what a match to watch him, because today Alvaro Carreras was an absolute headache for Barcelona's defense. He had an incredible match today, so I'm pretty sure there's going to be plenty of positive reports coming out of Barcelona scouts after today's match. Now, of course, Barcelona are not the only club who are interested in Alvaro Carreras. After all, he is a young, rapidly growing fullback with international experience. So as such, he has caught the attention of other clubs, including Real Madrid and Atletico de Madrid. Now, we'll see what will come out of this interest after Barcelona have been looking to reinforce the left back position for quite some time. We'll see if they'll try to make a move for Alvaro Carreras in the summer. But one thing is for sure, we're talking about Benfica. So it's not going to be cheap, because Benfica are known for doing this, signing players on the low, developing them, and then selling them for incredibly high prices. Now, while we're on the topic of left backs, we do have news in the case of Gerard Martin, because the Barcelona youngster is set to sign his contract renewal during this week. Now, Hansi Flick is someone who counts on Gerard Martin, someone who likes Gerard Martin, and as such, he requested from the club to extend the contract of the Barcelona fullback, and as such, the club obliged. They have negotiated the contract renewal with Gerard Martin. Everything has been agreed to, and the player is expected to sign the contract during this week, extending his stay in Barcelona until 2028. Some are even saying maybe 2029, but most reports are saying 2028 with a 100 million euro release clause. Now, of course, Gerard Martin is not someone that the club necessarily thinks that he's going to have a very long career and long and prosperous career at Barcelona, a career of a star or anything like that, but he is a player that Barcelona think is someone you need to have on your squad, just like you need to have stars and difference makers. You also need players like Gerard Martin, players who keep their head down, work hard, and they're willing to help the team any way possible, whether it's playing one match in the entire season or 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there. You need those players in order to rotate with the starters, with Alejandro Balde, and while Gerard Martin is that player. And I honestly don't think he's done a bad job. I know at the beginning he had a few mistakes here and there, but I think that was just the change from third to first division. Overall, whenever he comes on the field, I think he does his job. He doesn't necessarily impress. You're not like, wow, Gerard Martin is amazing, but overall, I have no complaints of the player. And again, you need these kind of players on your squad. So there we go. Gerard Martin will be staying until 2028. Now, that is all for this video. We'll be uploading another video after this one, so make sure to check out the channel or stay tuned to the channel. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, and as always, Visca Barça.